What do these seemingly unrelated images have in common? From historic buildings and steam engines to theaters and hydroelectric dams, each of these elements holds a piece of a larger story, a story that weaves through time and connects generations. Meet Walter Childs, born in 1572 in Berkshire, England, and a pioneering ancestor who immigrated to America with his wife and two sons aboard his own ship. He served in the House of Burgesses in both Charles City County and James City County, Virginia, between 1642 and 1652, dying in Virginia in 1653. His home was the first brick dwelling in Jamestown, a site preserved by the National Park Service today. Introducing Ninian Bell, a resilient figure born in 1625 in Fifeshire, Scotland. After being taken prisoner in the Battle of Dunbar, fighting Oliver Cromwell, he was taken to Maryland to serve as an indentured servant for 5 years. Upon completion of the servitude, he was given 50 acres of land, eventually owning almost 4,000 acres of land in Maryland. For services in dealing with the Susquehanna Indians, he was granted 795 acres of wilderness that comprises what is now eastern Georgetown and is where the Rock of Dumbarton is still located. When he died in 1655, this land was left to his son George, a portion of which was purchased in 1651, along with another tract of land from George Gordon, to create modern-day Georgetown, which was named after these two Georges. James Andrew Henderson, born in 1857 in Georgia, was a direct descendant of Walter Childs and married Mary Adeline Davis, a direct descendant of Ninian Bell. He was the descendant of 3 DAR, recognized patriots of the Revolutionary War, and his father and father-in-law both fought for the Confederacy in the Civil War. He was a man of many roles, at different points in his life, serving as a deputy U.S. Marshal, a manganese miner and farmer, and the chief of police in Cartersville, Georgia. From 1913 until his death in Atlanta in 1920, he was a raiding officer in the IRS. William Valentine Murphy, born in 1892 in Connecticut, was a self-taught engineer and married the daughter of James Andrew Henderson. His grandparents were immigrants from Ireland, escaping the effects of the potato famine. His contributions to engineering and infrastructure impacted areas around the world. I will highlight a few of the more notable achievements. In 1916, he became a superintendent at the Great Falls Dam, a hydroelectric facility that was an important engineering achievement at the time. This dam was the only facility of the Tennessee Valley authorities that was outside of the Tennessee River watershed. In 1922, he was sent by General Electric to work at the Tepexic plant, a hydroelectric powerhouse in central Mexico that was part of a key infrastructure project being developed by Mexlight, the Mexican Light and Power Company. It was here that his oldest child, a 5-year-old son, ran in front of a trolley car and was killed. NEPA, hydroelectric station, and the order of the Red Banner of Labor. Construction of the dam began in 1927 and was completed in 1932. The U.S. government provided expertise, and General Electric built the electric generating turbines. On October 10, 1932, the dam began operation. The dam was nearly 2,500 feet long and 200 feet high, and it flooded the upstream rapids. The power generating capacity was the largest in Europe until the 1950s, when larger facilities were built on the Volga River. The dam included a series of locks that made almost the entire Dnieper River navigable. The picture you are looking at now is a view of the power station showing the sluice and turbine building under construction with the dam in the background. September 17th, 1932, the Soviet government awarded William Valentine Murphy and 5 other engineers of General Electric with the Order of the Red Banner of Labor for the outstanding work in the construction of Dnipro HS. The Order of the Red Banner of Labor, the Soviet Union, was the Soviet Union's 3rd highest civil award, established to honor great deeds and services to the Soviet state and society in the fields of production, science, culture, literature, the arts, education, sports, health, social, and other spheres of labor activities. In 1941, as Nazi German troops swept through Soviet-era Ukraine, Joseph Stalin's secret police blew up the Dnieper Dam in the southern city of Zaporizhia to slow the Nazi advance. The explosion flooded villages along the banks of the Dnieper River, killing 20,000 to 100,000 civilians in the ensuing flood. American journalist H.R. Knickerbocker wrote that year, "The Russians have proved now, by their destruction of the great dam at Dnipropetrovsk, that they mean truly to scorch the earth before Hitler, even if it means the destruction of their most precious possessions." Dniprostroi was an object almost of worship to the Soviet people. Its destruction demonstrates a will to resist which surpasses anything we had imagined. I know what that dam meant to the Bolsheviks. It was the largest, most spectacular, and most popular of all the immense projects of the first 5-year plan. The Dnieper Dam, when it was built, was the biggest on Earth, and so it occupied a place in the imagination and affection of the Soviet people, difficult for us to realize. Stalin's order to destroy it meant more to the Russians emotionally than it would mean to us for Roosevelt to order the destruction of the Panama Canal. Now part of Ukraine and a focus of Russian attacks, the dam and its power station was struck by 8 missiles launched by Russia as part of a massive attack on energy infrastructure across Ukraine on March 22, 2024. This attack caused damage to the dam's structure, although officials said there was no risk of a breach. On April 12, 2024, the dam caught on fire as a result of drone strikes launched by Russia. The fire caused around 0.5 ton of oil products leaking into the Dnieper River, and the facility was again left in a critical state following another Russian attack on June 1st. William Valentine Murphy's expertise led him to Oak Ridge, where he contributed as an engineer to the Manhattan Project. This pivotal project in American history is now commemorated as a National Park historic site, marking its significance in the development of nuclear energy. During World War II, the secret city of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, was established for the Manhattan Project. More than 75,000 scientists, engineers, and workers were assembled there to perform the critical work of enriching uranium for the world's first atomic bombs. Following the war, the site transitioned to peacetime research and became the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, where scientists have made breakthroughs in fields like nuclear energy, medicine, and supercomputing. William Valentine Murphy was an incredible man, but we would be remiss if we didn't take a minute to talk about the woman behind the man. Mamie Irene Henderson Murphy, or May, as she was known to her friends and family. Her son, James, said this about her: "Due to the fact that Dad was away working, it was up to her to raise us. She bought the Atlanta house before he even knew about it. She had already lost William Jr. in Mexico. She did an excellent job of taking care of her family. During World War II, she and one of her friends took it upon themselves to dig, with a pitchfork, about 2 acres, and planted a victory garden and raised chickens in the backyard so we would have the food we needed. At this same time, she was the air raid warden for the neighborhood, GE sent Dad to work at Oak Ridge, where the atomic bomb was built. Not to be outdone, Mother, in talking to a neighbor, learned of a cabin that was available for sale on the Hiawassee River. Mother bought the cabin, which had a sign over the front door called the Welcome Inn, which we went to when school was out. This put us 50 miles from Dad and his work, and allowed him to come visit with us on the weekends and holidays. This was good, as it gave us more time to be with Dad. She was a hard worker and a very loving mother. William Seller Richardson was born in 1863 in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, not far from Balmoral, and after coming to America at the age of 22, worked as a freight agent for the Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis Railway, now known as CSX. In 1920, and until his death in 1934, he was voted in and served as the tax collector in Atlanta. In 1924, a lawsuit was brought against him and the city of Atlanta regarding interstate taxation. The lawsuit went as high as the United States Supreme Court, with William Seller Richardson and the city of Atlanta ultimately being victorious. He was a member of the Mount Zion, Chapter 16, Royal Arch Masons, a member of the Jason Burr Council, 13 Royal and Select Masons. He was a member of Coeur de Lion Commandery 4, Knights Templar. He joined the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in 1921 and was a 32-degree Mason. The 32nd degree is considered an honorary degree bestowed upon those who have demonstrated exceptional service to the Brotherhood. In 1926, he served as the illustrious Grand Master of the Grand Council of Royal and Select Masons in Georgia. On June 16, 1928, the cornerstone of the Fox Theatre in Atlanta was laid, marking a significant moment in the city's cultural history. William Seller Richardson represented the Freemasons at this event. This event symbolizes the enduring legacy of those who contributed to its creation and the vibrant art scene it supports. This is the actual video of the event. How do all these stories and achievements come together? Through the lives of Norton Richardson Asbury, the grandson of William Seller Richardson, and Mary Jane Murphy, the daughter of William Valentine Murphy, we see the threads of history woven into a rich tapestry connecting past and present through family lineage. And so, the legacy continues with Dorothy Jane, the only child of Norton and Mary Jane Asbury. Known to many as Barbara Ann Asbury Kent, she represents the beginning of the current chapter in this remarkable family story, carrying forward the heritage and values of her ancestors. Who are your people? What interesting people are in your family? What events have they participated in that made this country, this world, and you what and who you are today? If you haven't started looking into your family tree, there is no time like the present.